professionals.
So what's the issue?
What's the issue? It's the capacity, you know, when you have an association of professional interest, your main responsibility should be looking after the interest of the professionals.
Okay, but isn't that what they're doing now? We'll come to the lawyers. You know,
I am not sure that they're doing it to the extent that they should be doing it, that NANTAP should be doing it. Don't forget, my bias comes from the fact that I'm an arts administrator. I'm an arts manager. Are you with me? And so that's where that's coming from. But a way of answering your question is this. And that goes to my comments about what ATRL is doing. And some of what's being said on this table. It's not just about advocacy, they need to speak out. For last time they sang it, I don't want to die, Papa day for house, Mama day for house. That's why you take a lot of rubbish and you don't speak out. We don't speak out. Let me say it definitively here. It's beyond minimum wages. The arts and culture in Nigeria are in deep crisis. Yeah? They're in deep crisis. Go and look at the cultural institutions. Go and look at the state of affairs with artists. The sector is in deep crisis. There is need for intervention. Government intervenes in different areas of life in Nigeria. There was intervention in power, there's intervention in agriculture. We need government intervention in culture. It's got to be that deep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be political will from, number one, Mr. President. Because I gave you an example earlier before. You have a minister who is well-intentioned, who has no money. Instead of driving policy, he's going around securing partnerships and raising funds. We should be driving policy.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, so back to the question. So you think the minimum wage legislation being proposed by NANTAP is not going to work, or will it work?
I think there are bigger issues. There needs to be a national conference on culture.
Okay, we'll take that from you, and then let's move on to the lawyer, Mr. Yomi Animashao, who's a partner with the Lawship Legal Practitioners. What do you think about this minimum wage being proposed by NANTAP?
Well, my view is that...
can we have one house, please? We're coming to you shortly.
If it's properly pushed, it can be achieved. But then, will it achieve anything after the legislation has been passed? That is the critical question.
Will it?
Will it be enforced? What is the chances of the enforceability of such a law if it eventually gets passed?
All right.
What number of artists is government itself in government employment? How many are they? Because you can only control those in your employment. You can only enforce minimum wage as regards people in your own employment.
Right,
if they're not in your employment, you can't control what the other employers will do in regards to payments.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to the Mr. Lanre Adebayo.
Now,
there you go.
The point is this. Minimum wage, I mean, states can, when the federal government fixes its minimum wage, states are allowed to, do what pleases them in that regard. So, of course, they can push for minimum wage. Of course, they can also push for minimum wage through trade union activities. We have RATAWU, am I not correct? Radio and Theatre Arts Workers Union. Because NANTAP as a body pushing for it may come across some legal issues in terms of are you the right person? Do you have a local standing? But RATAWU, of which NANTAP members are also those who are working with government and various establishments, are members of RATAWU. They can push for it through that level, and
okay,
it will be achieved.
We're getting a lot of murmurings in response to what you're saying. We'll come back to you shortly, but Adebantu, NANTAP is proposing this minimum wage. Do you think it will have any effect on you and your practice? What are your thoughts and views?
I don't know the intricacies of the politicking between the various organizations and what their motives are. Me as a free agent, I don't expect it to affect me. I think more pressing issues are what is really disturbing is that artists don't have proper health insurance. That is a more pressing issue. Why do I say that? Because, as I said, I was in Germany for 20 years. I had free health care services, the best. The government paid 60% of my health insurance, and I had to come up with 40% of it, and I had to pay a minimum of maybe like 100 euros a month. They made exceptions for artists, you know, writers and what have you not. So we need to be properly taken care of, and I think that is a more pressing issue because so many artists are dying, you know, and there are even far bigger issues. So we shouldn't waste our energies and times, you know, deliberating over certain politics within certain fields or organizations and their interests. I think we have to look at the bigger picture. The question is, why do we keep fooling ourselves? Why do we keep expecting something from a government that will never deliver? So let us just forget that. I know it's important, we need to engage them, but at the same time, let us just look for alternatives. We are creative people, and that is what I expect from us, creative and alternatives.
Thank you very much. Please a round of applause for the panelists tonight. Thank you so much. I'd like to really appreciate you. But let's go to the audience now. I know that Makinde Adeniro is the chairman of NANTAP. I saw him earlier today. Are you still here? Okay, can we quickly hear from you? Ayo, can you please pass this? You heard the consensus from this side of the hall. What are your thoughts briefly, please?
Okay. The first thing for me, the same way it happens everywhere you go, right? The arts organization, long time ago, have stopped blaming government or whatever. The first thing you want to do is to look back at the artist community. Do we have a structure? If we don't have a structure, then we don't have what it requires to engage the government, which is the first and foremost problem that we have to conquer. And having this structure, you have to set up certain parameters that can help you move forward. What are these parameters? Most important in all of these things is the artist welfare. For example, NANTAP has been working for years, just single insurance policy for 20 years. You do, given the structure of the insurance policy, the artist who doesn't know where his next pay is coming from. I believe it's a wrong thing for anybody to work for 5 years and not to be able to show anything for that work for 5 years. And that's the life that the artists live largely in Nigeria. Why? Because even if he has 10 jobs, 10 contracts on his heart, he still cannot plan his life. Why? Because he doesn't know what is coming from those jobs. Why? Because those jobs probably don't have contracts. And these are grave. Now, if you have the issue of minimum contract, see, it's not going to be a 2 months or a 2 days affair. We have to be ready for the conversation. It is at least a 1 year conversation until we raise the pressure group and then make it legal. That is when, okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr.